Hello and welcome to Buyer's Market, Single Dealer Portals and Courting the Online Client, a webcast sponsored by Finextra and Caplin. I'm Kevin Houston, Chairman of Rapid Edition and Co-Chair of the FPL Technical Committee, and joining me on the panel today are Kevin Bourne, Managing Director E-Equities at HSBC, Javier Alexander, Global Head of E-Commerce at UniCredit, Paul Caplin, CEO of Caplin, and Stefan Malrit, Global Head of E-Commerce at SocGen. During our discussion, you can submit questions to our panel at any time. The question box is located next to the video screen on this website. A selection of the questions will be read out throughout the discussion. We have a large number of viewers registered for this event, so I apologise in advance if we do not manage to get to your question. Okay, topic one, let's get started. What exactly is a single dealer portal and what's its value to clients? I think I'll start with Javier.
Okay.
Apologies.
Okay. Good afternoon. So a single dealer, by opposition to a multi-dealer, in fact, portal or platform, and I apologize if I answer this question from the point of view of an OTC instrument specialist more than an exchange, in fact, a specialist. So in a in fact, portal, you have prices coming from many sources, which the client can compare, and that is being distributed worldwide to specialized customers like asset managers, hedge funds, corporations, and so on. In a single platform or portal, basically, the client can only see your prices. Okay, so you can see the first advantage is that you don't get to compete so much, even though some customers will have 5 or 6 portals on different screens. They can't really hit all of them at once, so actually that's one of the superiority. The second advantage of a single dealer, whether it's a platform or a portal, is that you don't pay brokerage on your own platform, in theory. At least you buy the software from someone and then you move on, basically, whereas on a multi-facility, you do pay brokerage on behalf of the client, basically. Now, there are, of course, a number of clients who will dictate to you exactly what they want, and you won't be able to tell them whether you're going to deliver it single or multi-bank. So a single facility would be more actually directed at, I would say, not the top-notch customers who really are going to have their own ways of accessing your facilities, actually.
Paul, do you have any views on the differences?
I think that's right. I think that banks are realising as markets go electronic one after another, certainly the OTC markets are going electronic progressively. FX was the leader, I suppose, then rates and credit not too far behind now. They're realising that there is an opportunity to deliver liquidity directly to clients. They don't have to go via the multi-dealer platforms. As these markets go electronic, there is the opportunity to reach a much bigger client base. So you can reach a lot more people electronically than you can by voice, going from hundreds to thousands in many cases. Initially, the route to all those many thousands of clients was via TradeWeb, Bloomberg, Market Access, and so on. Banks are realizing there's an opportunity to build direct relationships with those clients electronically in the same way as people like Amazon have demonstrated there's an opportunity to build direct relationships with book buyers electronically, and you can use an electronic platform, in some cases with quite a lot of clients, to replace the role of a sales trader.
Kevin, I mean, you and I spent a lot of time trying to educate the world about FIX, which sounds to me a little like the exact opposite of a portal. What are your views?
Yes, but then we actually put FIX on the back of a single dealer portal as a way of giving us independence with how the portal represented its product offering out to the clients. I think there's a slightly different thing that's always happened with single dealer portals. They've always represented, I think, the fastest iteration of change in the industry. When open APIs have been unable, because of the customer's applications, to give the customers the product mix they want on their desk at that time, the single dealer portals, where the banks are prepared to invest the money to gain that advantage, have delivered that product. And throughout the cycle of electronic trading that we've seen over the last 25 years, what you've had consistently is single dealer portals arriving first with a product solution, and then as order management systems and execution management systems catch up, that becoming a multi-dealer choice. But I don't think that cycle is ever going to stop, because the industry is never going to stop innovating.
And Stefan?
I agree with what you said. It's really what we see from the client's demand as well, is that they want different level of services that they may not have in the multi-dealer environment, and they want more relationship with their bank. So it's in a way, try to leverage the automation and productivity gains that the bank will get and the client will get, and delivering on top of that all the different services that the bank can offer to the client, like the research, trade IDs, execution, post-trade services, etc. And you don't have that range of product yet on the multi-dealer environment.
Absolutely. I think Stefan made a key point, which is that bringing together all those different assets and ingredients is something that is well beyond the capability of any of the multi-dealer platforms at the moment.